the computer. There we go. Happy Sunday,
Hi.
fellas. How's it
What's
going?
up?
All right,
Hey,
good
guys.
All
evening.
right. So as y'all can see, I'm right above me. We got the special guest today, Mr. Tony Byrne. Is that how it's pronounced? Is
Yeah,
that
yep,
proper?
Byrne.
Tony
Mhm.
Byrne, because he's on fire. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. So we're
Very
gonna do a
special
little
guest.
fragrance Sunday. You know the drill. Scent of the day. We'll start with our special guest, Mr. Byrne. What you rocking tonight, sir?
Oh, what am I wearing tonight? I'm wearing Killian Apple Brandy on the rocks.
Oh, so he a
Nice.
fancy guy. He got that
Yeah.
Nice,
expensive
dude.
taste. I love it.
Nice.
Yep.
Is that good? Like, what is that like?
So, I mean,
I've never
when I
smelled it, so I
first
don't know.
smelled it, I was like, this is way too sweet for my scent profile, right?
Mm.
But that was a long time ago. You guys know Eric Moore. He's in the group as
Yes.
well.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done
So-
some business with Eric.
Yeah, Eric's one of my best friends in my personal life, as
Nice.
well as like just a solid dude in the frag world, you know.
Yes.
And he gave me like a 3 milliliter sample of this, like almost, well, whenever it first came out, right? So like last year sometime.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, I don't know about this, you know, because I love just apple brandy, right?
Mhm.
But
Right.
because I love that woody, you know.
That's a
But
different
this-
fragrance.
Yeah, there's two. There's
Yeah,
apple
on the
brandy
on
by
the rocks
Killian.
is newer, right? That one just came
Yeah,
out.
it's like
Yeah.
a year old, something like that, maybe a little more. But
Mm.
at first I was like, man, this scent profile is it doesn't jive with my skin. But then
Mhm.
I hung on to it, and of course, you guys know your nose changes over times, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
I used to say all the time, like I had a peasant's nose when I first started. You know. But no, I ended up getting a full bottle of it. I loved it so
Nice.
much after everything, and Eric was cool. He gave me a good discount on a bottle, so I was able to invest in that, and you know, I
Sweet.
love it. I love Killian. Not everything from
Yeah.
Killian jives with me, but
They have
most
a lot of good ones though.
I love
Yeah.
Angel Share. That's
I want to try the Cologne too, the new one that came out. I heard that's really good.
yeah, it just came out, right?
Yeah, it's
What
called
it-
Cologne with a K. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah.
Cologne
Mark,
with
what
a
you got
K.
on, brother?
Oh, I was just gonna say that about that Killian. You know, I love seeing all these or well, people that still are making liquor drinks,
Yeah.
adult beverages, stuff like that. You know, like they've found like the market for parfum, and to be able to like break in and say, you know that feeling you get when you're just clinking that glass.
Yep.
It's
Mhm.
like with Killian, those bottles, man, it makes me feel like they totally have that vibe and that spirit, like they understand the magic of it, you know.
Well, Killian
Right there.
Hennessy. Killian Hennessy is the grandfather of the dude that invented Hennessy cognac.
Yep.
Right.
So you know,
Right.
I think if they didn't do well with that kind of feeling, you know, I know,
Yeah.
Mark, you nailed it. If they didn't do that well, then it's like, oh well.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you
But-
just
Come
get
on,
out
you know,
the
you're
game,
Hennessy.
but they doing pretty good, man. They're a very popular niche house. So
Yeah.
Sure.
They are all, I can't think of it right now, but a lot of companies are doing this though. A lot of the classic alcohol manufacturers are branching over into perfumes, and it escapes me now, but you'll hear about some of these brands. They'll be like, yep, they were actually you know, in the alcohol game back in the day. So, and now they're getting into it. So my scent of the day though is, well, I've had a lot of scents today, but I thought I'd spray this one here for the camera. This is one I just got in the latest Chef Cans pack. This is the Aqua di Gio Eau de Parfum,
okay,
How is that?
straight up. So
he's gonna find
first
out.
smell in here. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I get 3 sprays here filling up the room. I mean,
It
what
doesn't last though. It doesn't
It
last.
doesn't. I
Yeah.
wore it the
Don't
other
expect
day.
nothing
The
more than 3
longevity's
hours.
so
No.
bad.
More than
What
3?
Really?
Yeah, not even.
3 hours.
yeah.
It's like a joke. No offense to anybody that likes it.
I mean,
Sorry.
I guess I don't
Smells
know. What
good.
do you expect out
It
of
smells great.
ADG? Like, if you had a bottle of
Yeah.
ADG right now, what would you expect out of that? 3, 4
3
hours,
hours. Same
maybe?
thing.
It
Yeah.
smells like a
Yeah.
smoother, just like a smoother version of the original. That's the
Yeah.
only benchmark I have for it. So I'm like, all right, it smells
I can
good.
see it being nice in the
Listen.
heat though. I can
Yeah,
see
that's
that
what
the
that's what I
sun
was saying.
like
I could wear it in the
helping
summer.
that project.
You gotta wear a decant though.
They stay with the C notes and the mineral notes definitely. And
Okay.
it's an aquatic frag, I feel like.
The
All right.
mandarin is heavy.
Off my
That you
skin.
get a lot of
Yeah,
mandarin orange.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Right
like
on
the
the
main
front
thing
end.
you smell.
I
Off the
bet
rip.
I bet from a distance I would walk by somebody and be like, oh, that smells like ADG, but not quite. But then right now, I smell big differences. Like the clary sage comes across very
It's
different
yeah, it's nice.
than the other one. It's way more aquatic. So yeah, it's cool. Thanks for sending that over, Mal.
Listen, man,
I
you
know, it's nice.
anytime. All right, Jared, what you rocking today?
Well, because we were going to a mall with a fancier place, I had to put on Initio side effect earlier.
Oh, initial side.
And when I went up
effects.
to
Look
the
at
Creed
you.
boutique, I went up to Creed. She was like, "Oh," she was like, "Do you want to spray one on?" And I was like, "I'm already wearing something." She's like, "What are you wearing?" I was like, "Side effect." And she goes, "What?" I was like, "Initio." She goes, "Oh, okay," because they had an Initio boutique too, like all these little boutiques. She didn't even know side effects, but this is what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do the same as Mark. Stole my damn idea. I'm gonna put on a little
Sorry.
silver,
Oh, that's the
silver oud,
blend.
Oh,
little silver oud.
I'm
There
glad
you
you
go.
brought this one up.
I'm gonna do
I'm
it.
glad you brought this one up because I remember you posted a video and I think you were saying, I don't remember what it is, but I remember
I'm gonna
what
do it on my
Jared's
hand.
guess was.
That's the
I couldn't
That's the
remember what was in it.
Latafa. The Latafa.
Yeah,
Magnum
Aldur Magnoon Silver. That was your guess.
with the
It
And-
smells
Hugo
so
Boss
unique.
oud aromatic.
yeah.
It smells so unique.
The oud aromatic is
Oh,
just
man,
orange
that's good.
blossom, myrrh, and
You can
oud.
smell
That's
that.
it.
You can
Yeah.
smell that. But with this event, oh,
With
that's
Aventus DNA. That was my idea with that.
good.
Getting fancy.
This shit's good.
Yeah, this smell good.
All right,
I
so
just
that's me.
got this one tonight. Let's see if I always have problems with this camera. There we go, bam.
Yes, sir.
Funny
What's
you
the
say
least?
that because, well, you'll see why.
Oh well, then I'm gonna have to take it off my
I
list.
could just say, yeah, it's not on my
Everybody
list,
got
but
it.
I got it right by.
Unbelievable.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted because I
So,
think if anything, this isn't on my list.
This is on mine.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
see how my camera would do, especially with this ball. Let's see
3
if it can pick
compliments
up
on
the
that today,
sides.
bro.
All right. Well, I guess. Did we get everybody set today? We did. So I
Yes,
guess that
yes,
leads
we
us
did.
into our
We're
topic.
good
Start
to
it
go.
out, Jared.
Leads
We're
us
good
into
to
our
go.
topic.
So the topic. So today we're gonna talk about recovery. All of us are whether it's alcohol or drugs, people recovering from substances and addictions. And we're just gonna tie that into fragrance a little bit today and kind of,
For sure.
just, I don't have any, notes or blueprint or kind of where we want to go with it, but we'll just free flow and just kind of, I'm sure we thought about it a little bit this week. So kind of just put what's on your mind out there. It's funny because I know a lot of guys that are in recovery also, that are either addicts, and I even know some guys that are into like trying to become counselors and help other people, but they're also frag heads.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting how the two worlds kind of mirror each other or connect or whatever like that. So we'll talk a
I
little bit about that.
I always thought, at first when I joined I was first on Reddit, and that place is weird, and then
It sure is weird, man.
no offense.
That's where I
but-
met Mark though.
I know. Well, see.
Chef cans, our chef cans, baby.
That's it, baby. I'm still out there.
Yeah.
I came over to Facebook, and I felt Facebook was more interactive, and I started to notice, I was like, damn, there's a lot of people like in recovery too. Like, a lot of people that are similar. And I'm like, wow, I was like kind of shocked at first, but then I was like, it kind of makes sense. Not in a bad way.
Mhm.
I was like, it's just, this is Tony. I think you said it before. It's like, it's better to put my money into this than, drugs.
Yeah. Well, for me, right, I did dope. I was a dope boy for
Me
like 25
too.
years, right? So selling meth, running with, hard-hearted people. You already know the game, right? Just
Mhm, mhm.
I don't
You
know
know,
the game. I don't know the game.
it,
I'll
And
be
dope.
honest.
Dope to
Yeah.
me means something else. Dope here
And-
means heroin to me.
oh,
Right.
That's
meth
different.
here in the
Yeah.
Midwest,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Okay.
why I said
So
me too. Yeah.
yeah, because they call that boy here. They call it
Mhm.
brown
Boy.
boy, right? So,
Brown
Mhm.
boy. All
but
right.
I was in the meth world for most of my adult life. I've been sober like coming up on 8 years now, though.
That's what's up.
And
Yes.
when I made the transition from being a gangster to just being a good man, right? Which th- that is a journey, man. Because
Yes.
you're not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't feel like I was inherently like a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to really like figure out what that even meant.
Yes.
And when I got stable and settled, I found out that like I still had this drive I hate when people say it's like a addictive personality. I
Sure.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
I would say for me, I like that that necessary for me. I'm like, okay, I have to collect something. I have to like put my mind into something aside from obviously my family is a priority, my sobriety, my faith, all
Yes.
those things are a priority, but like I
Mm.
still had all this excess energy left over.
Had to channel it.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
so how do I do that? Well, and one thing I collect books, right? I collect books. That's
Nice.
one thing I do.
Nice.
My wife and I both are avid readers. And then,
That's so great to hear. Nobody reads anymore.
oh my,
No,
I love reading, dude.
I
I'm
haven't in
writing a
so
book.
long, but
So there you go. When it's done, you can
I'm
read it.
editing it. I'm
Yeah.
You're
editing
an
it.
editor. Yeah.
But on top of that, I used to when I first got into frags, it was just like I had all this extra money. I didn't know what to do with it back in the day. So
Right.
I
Yeah,
would just go ball out and buy a bunch of stuff from Macy's, right? All the designer stuff, and then
Mhm.
of course.
whatever, just trying to smelling like a straight club boy, and
Bad boy CH.
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah. So but then when I got stable and got a good job under my belt, like I was like, man, this frag world is so much, it has so much depth
Yeah.
and nuance, and there's so much to learn, and man, it has kept my attention for the last like 2.5 years. Like nothing outside of my family has ever done that, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so
Uh-huh.
it's I mean, I'm studying notes, I'm on web pages, I'm like meeting
Mhm.
people like you guys, me and Chef, what we met like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's been about two
Yep,
What?
years. Yeah.
a couple of
Yeah, I know
years
Tony a
ago.
minute, bro.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was the
Wow.
first. Actually, I bought a decant off of eBay of YSL. I can never say it. The Night of Man, right?
Yeah. La
Uh,
Nuit.
yeah,
Night of
Nui,
Man.
right?
Yeah.
I bought a decant and it smelled like ball sack. So I for sure got ripped off.
Yeah.
And right after that, I met Mo on the fragrance marketplace.
Nice.
I just searched decants and he had a great reputation, so I reached out and in between him and Eric Moore, like again, so Eric works for a treatment center. I used to work for that same treatment center. Right now, I work in criminal justice and helping addicts and stuff. But like
Yes.
between
That's dope.
him and Chef, I got introduced to a world of nuance that I'm super grateful for it, man, because it's kept. I live in Minneapolis. The last couple of years here were rough, man. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
rough with all the stuff that was
The
happening in
pandemic and then life.
pandemic, all the riots. I mean,
Mhm.
it was bad news. So I was able to kind of, look forward to packages coming in the mail and
Hell
study.
yes.
Does it smell
Yeah.
good on my skin? Does it not?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there is that. To get back to the original question, like the bridge for me is the fact that this allows me to engage my mind in a way that it adds to my recovery.
Yes.
Not that I need a distraction to stay sober, but it is really cool to be able to become an expert at something that helps you in a proxy way. So
Nice.
That's
That's
awesome. And you know
beautiful.
what? I wanted to that was a beautiful response. And I wanted
Mm.
to add something to that I think I was thinking about this topic earlier, and I think it's relevant too. Certain smells and certain, like citrus smells, they kind of light up certain receptors in your brain. I don't really know the
Mhm.
science. Mark probably does. I
Mm.
have no idea, but like certain aroma chemicals, they give you
yeah,
that like
True.
lift, they make you feel better.
They
Mm,
And I
release
think like
endorphins and stuff. Yeah.
exactly.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I think and like studying the notes and then learning what note like you really like. And when when you get a fragrance and you smell it and you didn't know it was in there or something, it's so beautiful. You're like, oh, this has violet leaf. Yes. Like
Yeah.
it's just I know what you mean. It's just
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
putting that energy. Wow, I can't say it better than you did, Tony. That's
No,
beautiful.
no, he definitely broke
Oh
it
my
down real
God.
good.
But
Yeah.
But it's like you said too, like learning the notes and everything.
mm,
Like what that does is when you smell other stuff, that knowledge you've gained from all the stuff that you smelled before, you apply it. And like you said, before you wouldn't have really liked that apple brandy on the rocks, but
Right.
because you've accentuated your palate and you smelled a lot of things, you
yes.
develop that you know that nose that where you could really enjoy that
Yeah.
fragrance more than you would have before. And I
Yeah.
think that that's where smelling a lot of stuff comes in handy. Now, like you said, it could be an addictive thing where you're buying bottles, you get
Mm-hmm.
addicted to decants, you're
Mm-hmm.
spending money, and it happens. And I still get a rush off of blind buying stuff, even though a lot of stuff I buy I'm gonna decant. It's still kind of like an addictive part of your brain,
Hmm.
like you said, where oh, I got that package coming. Oh, I can't wait to get home and open that up.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it used to be, oh, I can't wait to hit the liquor store after work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because my drug of choice was alcohol. I
Mm-hmm.
was a bad drinker. I was drinking 12 beers a day plus 2 pints of Jack Daniels, and that was like Monday through Friday. You know what I mean?
Ooh-wee.
Weekend was a different story. So I was out there, and if I was still at that pace, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. I couldn't be with
Mm-hmm.
you guys doing this or grown, chef cants to, the little bit of notoriety is gained over the 2 years that I've been decanting if I was just getting wasted every night.
Right.
Right.
And so, because I've gone sober, I'm going on 4 years. I've gone over a little over 4 years. So
Nice. Me
just
too.
just being clean and doing that it's the best thing I ever did for myself. So
Yeah.
That that's such the interest that package, like in the process. I think one of the things about addiction is like you become it's habitual and you get addicted to the ritual. So it becomes
yeah,
Mm,
more
yeah.
so about like the stuff you
Going
do
to get the
before than
stuff
actual.
than actual do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
So I would love going out to the hood, calling my deal. And it's like sick now to think about it, but I would love that,
yeah,
the risk,
yeah.
because I was going to places I shouldn't be,
Sure.
buying hard drugs, and it would be like it's just all about that build up. Now I like searching on Frag or like
Hmm.
Fragrance X, like new arrivals. Like, can I
yeah.
get this
Yeah.
before it's sold
I can
out?
find
A
Like I
lot
got that
safer though,
Lalique
bro.
before I got the white and black before it
all the
sold out. I sold out
Yeah.
like a day and I got a
It's a
rush. I
lot
was like,
safer
well,
than
the
being in the
Lalique
hood.
from Italy coming in through Staten Island.
I know
We're
it's
gonna
coming
get it in
in.
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
That's how we
Yeah.
got to do it. But yeah, I mean, I think
Very true.
you guys have all hit on great things. I think Mo, the idea of decants and the idea of how you can take that rush and that experience of getting a new fragrance and you can kind of really distill it into the experience that it is without having it to be a thing that's costing you a lot of money and driving wedges into your relationships and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I mean, I
sure.
think one thing for me that I always associate with kind of like struggling prior to recovery is, having issues with your family members who say, oh, well, you're not doing right by us right now,
Hmm.
and feeling like you don't have any control over doing that, and I
Mm,
think some
Yeah,
people can kind of get to that point even with fragrance, which
sure.
Mm-hmm.
which scares me too, and so
that's a topic I wanted to bring up. You guys are doing this is like perfect.
Mm.
I wanted to say like Mark was just saying, people can get addicted to it. It can be
Mm-hmm.
addictive. It's a shopping addiction. Sure, it's a
Sure.
shopping addiction. So
Yeah.
most of us, we know our limits, but like, what's our advice for those people that like cannot stop buying fragrance? Those people are just like, I can't stop,
Right.
like,
It's
and they're
hard,
going
man.
beyond their means.
Sure. I mean, it's hard, right? Like Tony said, he was out there with the meth, you with the dope, me with the alcohol. Like when you have that addiction, you don't really care about what's in your bank account. You care about what you're trying to get. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, is a fragrance addiction that life altering? I mean, that's a discussion, or that's an opinion that, yeah, everybody has a different one. But
Right.
me personally, like, it's like you said, if anything is altering your everyday life, your
Right.
financial situation, you're not paying your bills, you're not paying your rent, you're not paying your car, you're not handling your normal everyday responsibilities because you'd rather buy a bottle of perfume. Well, then maybe you have to sit down with yourself and check yourself and say, hey,
Right.
look, let me take care of my stuff I need to take care of, and this will always be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you said, Jared, like, oh, I got to grab that before it sells out. You know what? If it
Mhm.
sells out, there's 100 other places where you can find something.
Yeah.
For
I hop
sure.
in these groups every day, bro, and I'm like, yo, you could find anything you could think of.
You got it.
Somebody's either selling it, or you can find it for a good price, or you could just get a decant. There's
Right.
really not too many fragrances. If you're in the Frag Comm and you in a lot of these groups with 10, 20,000 members,
Get what you want.
you can find what you need. All you got to
Right.
do is say ISO, whatever the hell the name of the fragrance is, and people are gonna hit you up and tell you how to get it for a
And
fair price. Now, some
ISO
people,
ISO means I'm stupid, okay? And then you ask for the fragrance.
yeah, it means I'm so original.
I
Yeah,
have I
nah,
have a
but it's
question I
true.
wanted to ask. So whenever you're done, Mo, I don't want to interrupt.
No, you're good. Yeah.
This is a question for Mark and Tony.
Okay.
Because me and Mo have been into fragrances for like kind of ever almost. You guys are
Right.
like very kind of like more recent converts to it.
Yeah.
Does I wanted to ask a question of like how your recovery, how did you make like the transition? Because I know Mark, I think your story is involved a little bit with this. Like, what was the transition like from like being sober and then getting to fragrance? Like, where's the link? How did we get to this point?
Yeah, I'll let Tony go first.
Sure. Well, so I mean, to me, right, there's being sober, right? I know. So in my job, I work with we have like 3,000 people who have been charged with felonies on our roster. Okay.
Wow.
So that's 3,000 people. We have the opportunity to help them change their lives and stay out of the criminal justice system. Right. So many of those people are new. Well, they have drug charges, right? Minnesota is a pretty progressive state, but also they don't have any flexibility when it comes to meth, heroin,
Mm,
any hard drug. They're pretty cool about weed stuff, but the cops here will give you a felony charge for residue,
yeah.
and so it's no joke, you know what I mean? And so a lot of people get caught up in the nonsense. Well, so as I'm helping people make the transition from the streets to a life of integrity, I teach all the time, like, there's a big difference from being sober to being in recovery, right?
Mm,
The idea for sobriety on the front end is to remove you from everything that's causing you to use, right?
People, places, and
But
things.
yeah,
mm,
but when you transition into living a life in recovery, long term or otherwise, it's really important that you have a full life, right? So I'm married. I have 3 children. We have an 18-year-old, a 4-month-old, and a 2-year-old. Okay. So outside of my
Yeah.
work, my family is 100% my focus, right?
Mm.
My
yes.
my primary responsibilities is to do A, B, and C with my family after work, right? Okay.
Yep.
But aside from that, what does my life look like? Because if I pin all of my hopes for recovery just on my family, that's not fair to them, right? Or if I pin all my hopes of recovery on my career, what if I lose my job, right? So, yeah, for me, to answer your question, Jared, it's like there has to be something of substance
Mm,
outside of your priorities that's just for you. Okay.
Sure.
So, like, some people play video games, whatever it is, it has to. And for me, I've chosen the Frag Comm world, right? Like, I've made some really, really cool friends. I met some super interesting people, and all of those people and all of this knowledge, it's all adding to the quality of my life, right? So it might seem like, oh, well, you know, you just love to smell good. Well, yeah, I love to smell good, bro.
Oh yeah.
I love walking
Yeah.
past people and people are like,
Yo,
oh,
what is
hey,
that,
bro,
yo?
you know,
That
like,
happened to me this
My
morning,
day
baby.
just
I
I
was
love
at
that.
7-Eleven. Yeah.
And I can't wait to teach my son that, you know, his cologne is the final piece of his outfit. And in some ways, the most important, right? I can't
Oh
wait for that.
yes.
But on top of the surface reasons that I'm in it, this thing adds to my life in a way that really makes it makes my life more. It just makes it more. It adds depth to my life, and I think that's a good thing to spend time and energy and intention on. You know,
Nice.
It's beautiful, man.
so
Yeah,
This is beautiful.
that was great. I mean, I don't know if I had a different answer prepared before, but now, you know, I think what you said is, to me, something that a lot of people miss. A lot of people miss that idea that, like, you exist, you know, especially just being a man, being a father, being a husband, being a worker, being a boss,
yeah,
whatever it is, like, everyone expects you to be that, but no one gives you time to be who you are, you know,
that's a good point.
sometimes. And, you know, I think when you lose yourself to something like addiction for a while, you forget that. But when you come back into recovery, you find you get to find out who you are again. You get to
Yeah.
learn who you are. You get to become your own friend in a way, you know. And like any stone on that path is, you know, a righteous one. So
Yeah,
Nice.
That's dope. You guys are awesome.
I will say I will say one thing too, like what about the frags, like we talked, like you mentioned, like yeah, I used to always wear stuff as a kid, and you know I always was into it because of my mom and my dad always
Yeah.
passed me stuff along. But I think you know, when I got to the point of where I was sober, you know, one of the first fragrances that really propelled me back into well, not even back, like to this Frag Comm world was Legend Spirit. And I remember Mont Blanc, and I remember wearing that and getting so good feedback that like Tony said, like people were like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And just remembering, because it had been so long since I got that kind of positive
yeah,
attention, you know, and like people always talk about compliments and things, but you know, at the end of the day, like a lot of it is helps your confidence, right? You know, I'm a bigger guy. I always
me too.
I never saw myself like, you know, I always had low self-esteem and issues like that. And that's one of the reasons I drank so much was because I felt like if I drank, I didn't have to face anything. I didn't have to deal with anything. I would just drink myself numb and I didn't have to worry about anything. You know what I'm
True,
saying?
true.
You know, as I got sober and, you know, I went to rehab. You know, I did, you know, I tried the 12 steps. It wasn't for me, but I gave it a shot. You know, I went into the rooms, they call them, and go to the meetings and stuff like
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes,
And it's
sir.
funny because Frag Comm, in a way, reminds me of those rooms, right?
Doesn't it? I knew you were gonna say it
It's
does.
so
It
crazy, yo.
does.
And Tony, and I know Tony
It
feels the
does.
mark. I don't know if you've been in those rooms,
I've been in
Yeah,
but
plenty.
I know you have. You know,
a
I
couple
could
times
tell
they made me go.
you know, yeah, you know. But it's very similar to where, especially if you go to a meeting that's always in the same place, you're
yeah,
always gonna bump into the same people and make the same click.
yeah,
And me, you, and Mark, you know, we did that, but then we got guys like Joe Walker, and we got Will Copeland, we got Tony, we got like a core group of
Everybody.
people. Yeah,
Hunter Smith,
right. Yeah, I
my
mean
boy.
the list
I
goes
told him I
on,
would
but
shout him out.
you have your crew,
yeah,
and you all share that
Yes.
that passion and idea that only you guys share, and that people from outside might look at it and, like Tony said, oh, you guys are nerds, or like
yeah,
Gary, your girl makes fun of you. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But it's it's our thing.
yeah,
You know what
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
And
then I
yes,
think that's one
yes,
of the ways that it connects, because when you have that, just like when you're trying to get sober and you have those people where you could reach out to say, yo, I'm
yes.
thinking about doing this today. And if they real, they're gonna be like, don't be stupid.
Right.
And it's the same thing in the Frag Comm. Like, if any
It's
of
a
y'all hit
social
me up and
support
say, man,
system.
I really want to try this, Mo. You think you could send me something? Yo, I got you.
Hmm.
I told y'all before, this is not something, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to run a business and I try to make some money if I can,
Of
but
course.
yo, this is to help people, bro. It's an extension of helping people, just like I helped myself get sober. This is like, one the 12th step is
So pass it
help
on.
people,
Yeah,
pass it
pass it on
on.
to others. Pass on the message.
And then to me, this is a way that I've been blessed to acquire all this stuff, whether it's my own money or the money I've made off selling stuff. And I use that mentality to pass it forward. And I think that that's one of the things that has helped me in my sobriety,
Yeah.
For
is
sure.
that mentality. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think totally understand that. I feel like with the group, like, well, it's Mark's group. I always have to say it's Mark's group, not
Yes.
mine. But people think it's mine. It's just like with
It's 'cause
being
you're
in that
feuded.
group. I know I am.
It's all our group,
But it's Mark's idea.
Nobody
I
No,
will
makes
it's
it
always
the
give
up.
him that.
900 people in it group. All we do
Yeah.
is
Hey,
But
that's
the
a
thing
big
about
deal,
it
man.
is,
yeah.
I remember when there was like 35 people in there,
Yeah.
Mm,
and I
the
was like,
thing,
hey, these guys are cool. This would be a
yeah.
good place for me to kind of
hang
slide
out.
off some stuff and try some new stuff without breaking the bank. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, there's nearly 1,000 people. And I'm like, well, that's good energy though, man.
Yeah.
There,
Exactly. And
some of the other pages are cool, right? You can put your ISOs in and
Mhm.
find what you're looking for, and you might meet somebody cool in a PM, but there's
they're
a lot of
Pushing out
bougie
there, too.
cats in those
pushing, man.
Yeah,
And see, I'm
I've done
saying,
that too,
We'll try not
I
to
ain't gonna lie.
cost you any money, you can just
Right.
come hang out and smell some stuff,
and at
That's
the
it,
point
man.
where, and it's at this point where, like Mo was saying, you meet so many people that, like, if you don't show up for one day, people are gonna be like, where'd you go? Like, for the
Yeah.
past few days, I've been really busy, but I've been checking in our little group chat, like, yo, I'm really busy. And like with the group, we gotta like do things with it now. Like, we all have to show up. So it's like I
Mhm.
could totally feel that Frag Comm being like it's just a social support thing. That's like the one
Yeah.
thing that addicts usually lack, is that social support of people there for them, so
Well,
they
most
use to
addicts
make themselves feel better.
are reclusive and get fucked up by
Exactly.
themselves. Excuse my language, but you get
Hell
high
yeah.
alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I
Mhm.
used to get drunk by myself. I wasn't out there with a
Yeah.
lot of people doing it. I do it in
Right.
recluse. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
So it's about, with the community. Even though, look, we don't physically like meet up and see each other, but it's interaction. You know what I mean? And it's all
Yeah.
positive. But when you're out there getting messed up, man, you by yourself, bro. You
Mhm.
in a hole in a corner alone, or with people that are like minded in a negative way, and
Now this
at
is my
least this is
rum.
more positive. There you go.
This is my rum.
What
There
is
you
that
go.
that you guys keep putting up? What is
Oh,
Click,
that?
that's
click.
Linsu
Now
me,
you ain't never
Lali.
smelled Linsu me?
Oh, nope.
Ooh,
It's got
Is-
rum in it.
boy,
That's the joke, like it's
Oh, okay.
alcohol.
man. I wore that
No.
today. I think like 7 people said, "What you have on?" I said, "Don't
That's a
worry
good
about
one.
it. Don't worry about it."
Stay on my personal business.
That's right. This lady,
That holds for me.
I was doing some paperwork, and one of the ladies from the kitchen walked in and she said, "What do you have on?" I said, "Hey, but it's all right. It's a little
You
something."
wouldn't know it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Lalique.
You speak Espanol. I'm start speaking French. You ain't gonna know what's going on. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Goodness gracious.
saying? Yeah, man. But yeah, if you ain't tried that one, Tone, I got
Beautiful.
you. I'll send you a
All
link
right.
Yeah.
to
Cool,
get your
man.
nose on it.
Yeah.
It's good
Yep.
stuff. You'll buy a bottle after you smell it.
100%.
Cool.
Yeah, there's like $30. It's not like crazy
That's not bad
expensive.
at all. See,
Yeah.
man, I was gonna ask you guys a question. Okay, so right, we're talking about boozy frags, right? You got apple brandy on the rocks, right? You got Angel Share, all of those. Have you guys? And I mean, this might be a little. I hope it's not controversial, but have you guys tested out any of the clones of those? Like so.
Jared
have
might have.
not. Which ones?
So like apple brandy, right, from By Killing is discontinued and it's hella expensive, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to. I got a decant of it. It's great. I sit on it, It's one top 3 for sure, but I'm not trying to spend 300 whatever it is on a bottle, right? I just won't do that.
Oh,
And
I see
so
where you're getting at.
so Alexandria, not to kind of plug them, but I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts on like kind of clones in general. They have a dupe called Wasted Moment. That's, I mean, I swear, dude, I feel like I have a pretty good palate, you know. I put one on one wrist, one on the other, and after 3
Close.
minutes, I literally cannot tell the difference, dude. You know.
I've heard, I don't have any personal experience, but out of all of them, I've heard Alexandria is the best, and they're also like the most upstanding and good. I know
Yeah.
one of the dudes in our group, Matt
Yeah.
R, he always vouches for them, and I always think to try them, but they, out of all of them, out of Dua and all that nonsense,
Yeah.
Alexandria, I've never tried it personally, but I know that they
Okay.
are
Yeah, they got
highly
a good rep.
respected.
And
Yes,
Sensual Obsessions is good too.
sensual as well. Yes.
They're
Yeah,
good too.
yeah,
Yes.
Kevin's good, man. I
Kevin's
got
a
a
good dude.
couple. I have a dupe with the Bond number 9 Andy Warhol, which is probably his best joint.
Okay.
It's so good. I love Plum, and I mean it's a little bit boozy too, but it has a little oud. I mean, it's nice. And then he's got like a Killian section with a
Okay.
lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but just like any frag, man, I tell people to try it, you know,
Right.
and like I think we talked about this last week a little bit. You know, people, if you spray something that smells similar and it's in the air, I mean, your average person ain't gonna really know. Like,
Right.
you're not gonna walk by somebody, and Mark made a really interesting comment last week where he said people probably spent 0.2 seconds thinking about what your perfume is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
He
either,
did say,
yo, it
yeah.
smells good, or yo, that stuff stinks.
Yeah. Or
So
or you smell like T-Rex.
yeah, you smell like T-Rex. You know what I'm saying? So you know, even if it gets you in that space, I tell
Yeah.
people, yo, if you could save a couple $100 on a bottle and get you something that's, you know,
Yeah.
if you don't have to spend 400 on the Ventus, but you know, you spend 40 on my Black Explorer. I was gonna say the Armand fragrance, but I am not a fan of it.
Nope.
So
I lost
so
taste for
We've
that one.
officially
but if it gets you in that
put that
space,
in the
right?
hate.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Chef
Mark,
right
Mark,
there, bro.
yeah, we dumped that
That's
one,
you.
Mark.
Yeah.
None of us like it anymore. We're all on
I'm
that
losing
there.
a lot of love for our moth personally.
Me too.
Yeah, it fell off a little bit, but
Yeah, somebody was posting that legacy today though. That one,
I love
Heard
that
that's
one.
pretty good.
That's a good one too.
But
That's one I'd always keep. And
yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, the Parfum's good. The Club de Nuit Intense Man
that
Parfum
gift
is
set,
good.
like, yeah. To respond to what you were asking, Tony, the other thing I think about these clones, and you know, it's kind of a philosophical point, but like all these smells are like an idea, right? Like apple brandy is an idea, and
Mm-hmm.
Killian isn't the first person to make something that smells like apple brandy, and they're not the last person to make something that smells like apple brandy. And well, their bottle is probably good, and maybe you'll never find something that's exactly like it. Who knows? You may find something better in the future.
Yeah,
Something
that's
that
true.
as an
Wow.
element that you haven't smelled before. And so I say just keep moving forward. Don't look
Yeah.
too far backward.
That's awesome, man.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's where you said to a lot of the addictive part comes in. A lot of people will say because you're chasing, right?
Mm.
You're chasing the next smell. You're chasing that
The
frag.
rare,
Yeah, and a lot of people
mystery.
say, "Oh, you're chasing the perfect fragrance." And for me personally, it's not. I'm not looking for anything. There's no end game for me in my mind as far as when I find that frag, I will never decant again, or I will never buy. I don't
Right.
have that in my brain. I just want to smell as much stuff as I can smell
Yeah.
Yeah.
and be able to tell others, "Yo,
Right.
if you like this, check this out."
Mhm.
And these two guys, and even you, could attest. Like a lot of the stuff that I've sent y'all went and bought bottles of,
Yep.
and that's what
I
this is
have.
about for me. I've done it
Right.
for so many people.
And,
I
and
got
buying
hundreds of
bottles of
customers, man. Like
for
many
$20 or
people have done that.
$30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like buying bottles that are not super expensive that I
Right.
never knew I would like a Jaguar oud fragrance. Like
Right.
Right.
You would never have bought that if I didn't
Never
say
in my
you'd be
life.
like, that shit probably stank. But
Yep.
then you smelled it and you
Jaguar
were
whack.
like, yo,
I
this
bought it like
is-
a week later.
This is nice. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And Yeah, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a bottle of something to smell good, especially
No.
when they hit these at gray market discounters. I mean, how much better? I mean, I guess it could be better quality, but all the oils are the same, man. It's all similar
That's true.
stuff.
That's true.
Lavender oil is lavender oil. Patchouli oil is patchouli oil for the most part, unless they're going into
Right.
some crazy process to extract it. But for the most part, it's all the same, man.
Right. For me,
Yeah.
what like I like bottles. But I got like, I don't know, 63 different frags between decants and bottles. I'm
Mm.
like, okay, if you add up all the ounces and milliliters, come on, man. I'd have to be the crazy overspraying like 10 sprays, just to
Right.
get through this in like a lifetime. And
Yeah,
so for me, like, I don't mind. I just bought a high partial of Dior Eau. I can never say that.
Oh,
yeah,
EAU,
the
Oh,
right?
old,
yeah.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Bro, that stuff is so fire. It's
I've
so
never, that's
good, man.
discontinued, right?
It
That
is
doesn't exist,
discontinued.
right?
I
Yeah.
got a great deal from Eric Moore. He sold me one of his high partials, and I'm like, okay, if that's all I wore, that would be gone in like 6 months, right? But
Right.
Mhm.
Sure.
I mean, I rotate different frags for different seasons and all those things, and man, I could see sitting on that bottle for 5 years. You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
like, what difference does it make if it's 5 years or 5.5 years if I just saved $50 buying a partial? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's, you're right. When somebody said earlier, like, if you're doing something to the detriment of the stability of your life, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing, frag world,
Anything. Gambling, anything.
whatever, man,
Mhm.
whatever the vice.
Video
And I
games,
hesitate to even use that word because, man, I've seen plenty of people like, you know, doing really normal things to their detriment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, my point is if you have if you're in a situation where whatever you're doing is causing the stability of your life to be in question, you got bigger problems than what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
For
So if
sure.
you're buying frags and it's you ain't paying your rent, you got a bigger problem than frags, right? That's just how it's manifesting in your life, right? And
Right.
so,
Very
Good word.
true.
so it's like, I mean, I have a budget for frags. I was during the pandemic, we were just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I got to the point where I was like, all right, look, I'm only spending money if it's like not coming out of my budget, right? So if I'm trading,
Right.
if I'm if somebody, whatever, some $100 on my tax returns or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and oddly enough, now I got plenty. I can trade to the point like I just traded a dude in the decant group some pure shot.
That's all
I'm
those
sending
things,
him
man.
out. He's a muggler fanatic. He's super stoked. I'm stoked. He's sending me some Dior tobacco. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like
Nice.
we're both spending a
Getting
little
what you
money on
want.
shipping, and that's it.
See,
Right.
but that's the point of the group, and I think that was
Right.
Mark's initial.
That
That was
was.
Mark's initial idea, and that was Mark's initial just thought
It's his
process
vision.
behind creating this. Since day one was, yo, we got all these samples. Some of them we like, some of them we don't.
Exactly.
But why don't we just come into a space where we can get it out to each other, and all we do is pay to ship it, and we're not trying to charge each other. And you see in the groups, there's guys that'll have decant lots, and they'll be like $75 for all these decants, and I mean, yeah, but I only might want one or two of them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Why I need to buy all
Nobody's
75 for?
buying those bundles, dude. Like nobody
So
wants your 17 different samples from Macy's.
exactly.
But somebody in their group does. They want to
Jared
buy
had
your
some Tom
Kino
Fords
toy
at
boy,
one
you
point.
know?
Yeah, yeah,
But
Man,
absolutely.
yeah.
it's all Mark. None of us
Yeah.
did anything else.
No,
and then
no.
it became like, but
I think
Down
like
here with me.
one thing, you were talking about having that bottle, the partial or whatever. It's like I got 100 ml ounce bottle or 100 ml 3.4 ounce bottle, and something I'll probably never use it, but like somebody in here is just like, man, have you guys seen that what's it called, infinite spicy, like, you know, I want to try 5 mils of that, and I've got like this list of stuff that I wanted to get rid of or something, and it's like, yeah, I'll smell that. And like, I
Exactly.
personally, I don't even like paying $3 for like a single decant. Like, I like
Yeah, we know.
trying to get like 2 or 3 decants in there for the shipping at least, you know, and
Yeah.
to feel like it's worth your money. But at the end of the day, well,
30 cents a milliliter or nothing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yo, Mark, it pains Mark to pay over $35 for a bottle, bro. He has like physical pain. He's like,
Yeah,
no
well,
way this costs
can't-
$45. Like, nah, it's
It's
not
not
about it,
worth
bro.
it.
It's not
I
worth
haven't
it.
really ever needed to. A couple things.
Yeah, but I know. See, the thing about you is I know you got some high-end bangers that
He
you just don't whip them out,
does.
but you got them.
He was like a Frederick
I know you
Mal.
do. I know you do, but that's okay. You said
I don't
some
even
stuff.
know, but like most of that stuff, I'll be honest, like I posted that Pure Wood the other day. Like I've only smelled that like once.
Is that
You
the
know.
He has all this stuff that he has no idea how great it is.
I mean, I know
He's
how
square,
good
right?
it is. I was like, yeah, no.
He's
this
like,
is- no, this is the Mugler.
Oh, the Mugler.
Pure Wood.
Pure. Oh, you
Oh
got
yeah,
that?
pure wood. Like who
Yeah.
has that?
I sent him some
Yeah.
Pure Coffee though. I sent you some of that one.
I
don't know if you
know.
saw
I
it.
I'm
wanna
like,
try
damn,
Pure-
I've
nobody
got, like,
has
the
Pure
whole-
Wood. That's expensive now.
I
Yeah,
know,
those
and
bottles
it's
go for like 300.
Mark
It's
has
crazy.
it, and he doesn't even look
Good.
at it.
I look at it and I'm like, oh, one day I'm gonna need a pick me up and I'm gonna bust that up, but you know, and
See,
it
look, I
does.
told you, I know
what
him, I
was
know
it the
him.
other day? I was stressed. You know, we were having some drama in the group, and I was just trying to handle it, and then, you know, I got to go to work, and I just ran upstairs and I grabbed my bottle of Dior Homme, and I was like, yep, it's a Dior Homme day. I'm like,
Sure
I'm not
was.
even gonna put on my Armaf Futura, which most
Yeah.
of the time would be fine. It's like, no, put the real shit on.
Get the
Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
Let everyone know I mean business today.
Hey, I gotta jump off, guys.
All right, brother.
All right,
Hey,
Tony.
thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for showing
Anytime.
interest in having the conversation between, you know, there's always a bridge between subjects, man. And and I just can't thank you enough for just being who you guys are. I appreciate all of you. So
Likewise,
thank you,
brother.
Tony,
We
for all
And
appreciate
thank
you.
you, like you
for-
said, man. It was a couple years ago when you reached out to
Yeah.
me, and my you know, my presentation was very you know, it was early in the chef camps, man. And you were one of the first people that reached out, man. So I always appreciate you, and
yeah, of course,
appreciate
bro.
what you bring to the group, brother. So
All
thank
right,
you.
man. You guys be
Thank
cool.
you, Tony. Be good,
Yep.
man.
All right,
All right.
brother.
Good night.
No,
That's
All right. That was good. Oh, what happened here?
That's very good. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna split that up because the whole thing is good. There's like
Yeah.
one time where I like sneezed and I was like, oh, I don't know.
No, my mom was yelling for the
out.
dog to give him chicken.
I was
honestly-
like, what is going on?
Like, what are you-
Honestly, I think the first half was perfect, and then I'll figure out what the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
because
the-
then we
the
started
second half was
talking
kind
more
of us
about
bullshitting.
fragrances and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you could definitely think
The
that's
first
shoppable.
20 minutes, I feel like
Yeah.
are probably perfect. This
Well,
can be
even if you
long.
stop it and then do a
yeah,
part
and then
two
do
and
the
same
the
thing.
part exactly. That's what
Are
I'm
we
gonna
still
do.
recording?
Yeah, it's still recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on.
I
I'll
don't
stop.
want to say